Alpine's Hemp Company. Gummies, seltzers, syrups, and more. Treat yourself to the best.
This is the WHKY News, and it's time for our weekly review of a few of the top crime stories we had for you during the week of February 17th through February 21st. I'm Ralph Mangum. Here we go.
The North Carolina State Highway Patrol reports that a bicyclist was killed in a crash Friday, February 14th in Catawba County. The deceased is 58-year-old Donald Stephen Ricker of Newton. At about 8:50 Friday night, the Highway Patrol responded to US 70 near 4th Street Southwest. Mr. Ricker was traveling east on a bicycle on US 70 when he was struck by a vehicle that immediately fled the scene. Mr. Ricker passed away at the scene. The suspect's vehicle is believed to be a 2018, 2019, or 2020 Ford F-150, F-250 Super Duty, or possibly a Ford Mustang. The Highway Patrol is requesting assistance from anyone who may have seen or been in the area of US 70 near Nagano Japanese restaurant from approximately 8:45 p.m. to about 9 p.m. Anyone with information should call the Highway Patrol at 828-466-5500. That investigation is ongoing. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY. 29-year-old Markel James Jackson of Lenoir was arrested by Caldwell County Sheriff's deputies on February 8th. He's charged in connection with an investigation led by Hickory police detectives. Jackson was charged with attempted murder, attempted robbery with a dangerous weapon, and discharging a weapon into a moving vehicle. In addition, Caldwell County deputies charged Jackson with resisting arrest. Jackson remains in the Caldwell County Detention Center where he is being held without bond on the Hickory warrants. He was given a $2,000 bond on the resisting arrest charge. A district court date in Newton was set for February 24th with an appearance in Lenoir on the resisting charge coming up on March 13th.
35-year-old Tony John Young of Statesville pleaded guilty in Iredell County Superior Court to possession of cocaine and possession of a firearm by a felon. He also acknowledged his status as an habitual felon. Young was sentenced to 63 to 88 months, or 5 years and 3 months to 7 years and 4 months in prison. Young was also sentenced to 22 to 36 months in prison to run concurrently with the prior sentence. The Statesville Police Department's Narcotics Division and Special Response Team executed a search warrant at an address on Mahogany Road just east of Statesville in January of last year. The operation came in response to community complaints regarding drug sales allegedly conducted by Young, who lived at the Mahogany Road address. Young was accused of engaging in drug sales both in the Statesville city limits and from his home. An investigation was launched, leading to controlled purchases of narcotics directly from Young at his residence. Officers reportedly found crack cocaine, methamphetamine, drug paraphernalia, and a mini Draco AK-47 style pistol, which investigators were able to link to Young. Young had multiple prior convictions, all in Iredell County, dating back to 2008. He is serving his sentence at the Piedmont Correctional Institution in Salisbury, and a couple of arrests. 51-year-old Jonathan William Rosenbaum of Houston Mill Road in Conover has been arrested by Catawba County Sheriff's officers on charges that include possession of a firearm by a felon, carrying a concealed weapon, maintaining a vehicle, dwelling, or place for a controlled substance, possession with intent to manufacture, sell, or deliver methamphetamine, felony possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia, no operator's license, and possession of Schedule II and VI controlled substances. Rosenbaum was jailed on February 16th in the Catawba County Detention Facility under a $76,000 bond. Appearances in district court were scheduled on February 17th and on February 24th, both in Newton. And 22-year-old McKelvion LaShawn Williams of West Berkeley Street in Granite Falls was arrested by Caldwell County Sheriff's officers Friday. He was charged with felony indecent liberties with a child. Williams was taken to the Caldwell County Detention Center where he was given a custody release. An appearance in Superior Court was scheduled for May 5th in Lenoir. In connection with a fatal hit-and-run accident Friday in Catawba County, the North Carolina State Highway Patrol now says their agency has seized a Ford truck and a person of interest has been located. As of noon on February 18th, no further details had been released. 58-year-old Donald Stephen Ricker of Newton was killed on U.S. Highway 70 near 4th Street Southwest Friday night when the bicycle he was driving was struck by what was believed to be a 2018, 2019, or 2020 Ford F-150, F-250 Super Duty, or possibly a Ford Mustang. Anyone with information should call the Highway Patrol. That number is 828-466-5500. The investigation is ongoing.
Catawba County Sheriff's investigators are asking for the public's help in identifying additional persons who may have been victimized in a multi-county fraud conspiracy. 64-year-old Virgil Garrett Jr. and his son, 27-year-old Noah Garrett, have been charged with obtaining property by false pretenses and felony conversion. The two allegedly obtained commercial vehicles and heavy equipment through rental agreements and then fraudulently sold the equipment to buyers across western North Carolina. The Garretts allegedly convinced buyers that they had a legal right to sell the equipment. Investigators believe the fraud took place for several months or longer. The Garretts are currently in the Catawba County Detention Facility with bond for Noah Garrett set at $750,000 secured, while Virgil Garrett was given a $600,000 secured bond. Noah Garrett will next appear in district court on March 31st. Virgil Garrett has court dates on March 6th and 10th. Multiple charges are pending against the Garretts. Investigators are working to identify the full extent of the operation and the total amount of financial loss to the victims. Investigators believe there are more victims who may not yet come forward. Anyone who has been deceived by the Garretts should call the sheriff's office at 828-464-3112 or email Sergeant Anthony Stobe at astobe@catawbacounty.nc.gov. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
38-year-old John Paul Berry of Lackey Farm Road in Stony Point was arrested by Iredell County deputies on February 12th. He's charged with violating his registered sex offender status by failure to notify law enforcement of an address change, which is a felony. At last report, Berry was no longer listed in custody. A district court date in Iredell County was scheduled for March 6th. Berry was convicted in 2008 on charges from Alexander County for indecent liberties with a minor. In 2019, Berry served a 20-month prison sentence after he was convicted in Iredell County as a registered sex offender on child premises. Thanks to WACB's Rick Gilbert for that information. And 37-year-old Courtney Santana Thompson of Northway Drive in Charlotte has been arrested on a felony warrant as a fugitive awaiting extradition to another state. She is wanted by authorities in Spartanburg, South Carolina, for financial transaction card fraud greater than $10,000. Thompson was also charged with driving while impaired, driving while license revoked, reckless driving to endanger, and a number of additional vehicular offenses. Thompson was jailed in the Catawba County Detention Facility on February 17th without bond on the fugitive warrant. Bond on the other charges was set at $2,000. An appearance in district court was scheduled for February 18th in Newton.
24-year-old Grayson Edward Wilson of Legion Road in Hudson was arrested Tuesday by Hudson police officers. He's charged with 8 counts of felony secret peeping. The arrest followed an investigation by the Hudson and Hickory police departments. According to a news release from the Hudson Police Department, Wilson secretly peeped into a room unlawfully and repeatedly used a device to create photographic images of the victim. Police reports say the incidents occurred on or around September 28, 2024 in Hudson. Wilson was placed in the Caldwell County Detention Center without bond. A district court date was scheduled for February 19th. The case remains under investigation.
45-year-old Damian Alonzo Mackins of 11th Street Northwest in Hickory faces charges in Catawba and Alexander counties. He made a district court appearance Monday in Alexander County on a felony count of habitual larceny. His case was continued until March 10th. Mackins was returned to the Catawba County Detention Facility where he is awaiting trial on 3 counts of habitual larceny. He's being held under a $10,000 secured bond. Mackins was released from prison in January after serving 33 months for breaking and entering with intent to terrorize or injure and assault on a female. Those charges were filed in Mecklenburg County.
58-year-old Russell Cornell Bell of Hickory has been arrested by Hickory police and charged with felony hit and run causing death. Bell is charged in connection with a fatal hit and run early yesterday that claimed the life of 40-year-old Quentin Javar Davis of Catawba. Officers responded to the incident at about 8 a.m. Wednesday on Highway 70 Southeast. There, they found Mr. Davis deceased beside the roadway on the 300 block of Highway 70 Southeast. Investigators determined that Mr. Davis had been struck by a vehicle that left the scene. Further investigation revealed that the suspect's vehicle was a 2011 Ford F-150 driven by Russell Cornell Bell. Bell was jailed in the Catawba County Detention Facility where he is being held under a $50,000 secured bond. A first appearance in district court was scheduled today in Newton. The investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information related to the incident should call the Hickory Police Department at 828-328-5551. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
He will serve those sentences without the possibility of parole. 28-year-old Isaac Nathaniel Christenberry entered a guilty plea to 3 counts of first-degree murder on Wednesday here at Catawba County Superior Court in Newton. He was given 3 consecutive life sentences. Christenberry shot and killed 28-year-old Jenna Cox and her parents, 61-year-old Charles Cox and 61-year-old Cindy Cox at a residence in Maiden on October 22nd of last year. He killed Charles and Cindy Cox in front of their 10-year-old grandson and even held the gun to the child's head before letting him go. The boy fled to a neighbor's house after witnessing the shootings, and the neighbor called 911. After officers from the Maiden Police Department and emergency personnel from Maiden Rescue arrived at the McCree Road residence, they found the 3 victims in different places. While officers were responding, a 911 call was received from Christenberry, who had driven away from the crime scene into nearby Lincoln County. During the call, he acknowledged the shooting and that he wanted to surrender to authorities. During an interview, the defendant told investigators he left work that day, drove to the residence, and shot and killed all 3 victims. The defendant's parents later told investigators that Cox had broken off the relationship with Christenberry the previous day. Several family members made statements to the court on Wednesday, including the 10-year-old boy who discussed what the defendant had done by taking away his mother and his grandparents. Reporting from the Catawba County Justice Center in Newton, I'm Rob Eastwood, WHKY News.
According to our news partner, WACB, Nate Eli Kurzak, a former Hickory firefighter, pleaded guilty to possession of child pornography in federal court Wednesday. A sentencing hearing will be set at a later date. In October of 2023, Hickory police arrested Kurzak and charged him with 10 counts each of second and third degree exploitation. In May 2024, Kurzak was indicted on federal charges for the distribution of child pornography and possession and access with intent to view child pornography involving prepubescent minors. At the time of his arrest, Kurzak was employed by the city of Hickory as a firefighter. A magistrate's order from Catawba County said Kurzak had images of an unknown female minor, approximately 6 years old, involved in sexual activities with other minors. The offense reportedly occurred in June of 2021. Kurzak was 18 years old at that time.
A Hickory man faces multiple charges, including violating the terms of his probation. He's also charged with stealing a dog. The suspect was placed in the Catawba County Detention Facility here in Newton following his arrest. He had multiple court dates scheduled. 20-year-old Toland Huff of 14th Avenue Drive Southwest in Hickory was arrested by Hickory police officers. He's charged with felony counts of larceny and probation violation. Huff is also charged with larceny of a dog. He's on probation as a result of a conviction in Catawba County in June of last year on felony counts of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill and discharging a firearm into occupied property. He received a suspended sentence and 60 months probation. Huff was placed in the Catawba County Detention Facility Thursday morning under $50,000 bond. He had a district court date scheduled the same day. A Superior Court appearance is set for April 17th.
The Hickory Police Department is investigating a homicide that occurred on February 20th. The deceased is 22-year-old Mason Cole Pridemore of Hickory. At approximately 9:57 p.m., Hickory Police responded to reports of an unresponsive male in a vehicle in the parking lot at a church educational facility on 29th Avenue Drive Northeast. Mr. Pridemore was found deceased in the vehicle from an apparent gunshot wound. The investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information connected with the case should contact investigator Daniel Peacock at 828-261-2620 or email dpeacock@hickorync.gov. Stay tuned to this story at our website, WHKY.com. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
Police suspected that drugs were being sold at a home in Lenoir. They responded to that residence and seized methamphetamine, fentanyl, and U.S. currency. They also found stolen vehicles on the property. The suspect was arrested and placed in the Caldwell County Detention Center. 50-year-old Jeffrey Allen Price of Northwest Stonewall Street in Lenoir was arrested Wednesday by Caldwell County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with trafficking methamphetamine by possession, possession of fentanyl, and maintaining a dwelling for controlled substances. On Wednesday, a residence authorities believed was being used for selling methamphetamine on Quail Ridge Court in Lenoir was searched by the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office ICE unit and the Lenoir Police Department. The suspect, Jeffrey Allen Price, was taken into custody without incident. Agents conducted a search of the property and reportedly found approximately 147 grams of meth, 2 grams of fentanyl, 5 stolen motor vehicles, and $866 in U.S. currency. The meth seized during the investigation has a street value of $24,450. Charges related to the recovered stolen vehicles were pending. If Price is convicted, he faces mandatory prison time. He was brought to the Caldwell County Detention Center under a $100,000 bond. A district court date was scheduled on Thursday.
And that'll do it for our weekly summary of some of the crime stories we had for you during the past week. That's the week of February 17th through the 21st. Our weekly roundup is posted every Saturday on our YouTube channel, along with our top stories, the crime report, local sports, and community focus. I'm Ralph Mangum. Thank you for watching.